Discover prototypical track and turnouts with the Roadmaster series from Oak Hill Model Railroad Track Supply. Proudly made in the United States, Oak Hill's handcrafted turnouts provide unparalleled detail and accuracy, giving your layout museum-quality track work at an affordable price. Whether fully built or in easy-to-assemble kit form, Roadmaster provides all the details of real track. Looking for a custom piece of track work? Oak Hill can help with custom turnouts, diamonds, crossings, and more. Check out all of their offerings on their website, ohrtracksupply.com. Hey, do you like free stuff? As a member of the operating crew, you'll get a chance to win awesome prizes each month. For less than a dime a day, you'll be entered to win, and just as important, your support helps keep every episode from behind a paywall and free of those unrelated and annoying commercials you hear on other podcasts. Sign up today at aroundthelayout.com/crew, and thank you for your support. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Around the Layout, where model railroaders come to tell their story. My name is Ray Arnott. So glad you could join us. We're going to be talking about Railfair 2024. And joining me to do that, coming from the Nashua Valley Railroad Association, we have Peter Olympio.
Hi, everybody.
And Thomas Fitzgerald.
Hi there.
Glad to have you both here. As the weather cools down on this side of the equator, the train shows seem to heat up, and you guys are kind of in the lead with a fall time show up in Boxborough, Massachusetts, which is, I guess you kind of call that maybe just outside of Boston. What would you say? How would you like to refer to Boxborough?
Probably 30 odd miles northwest of Boston.
There you go. So it's in that northern area, kind of near the New Hampshire border as well. So great spot for a train show. So looking forward to talking to you guys about the train show and also finding out a little bit more about the Nashua Valley Railroad Association too. I've heard of you guys. I've actually been to the show a few times, but love to find out more about the organization. So looking forward to that. So why don't we start with Peter? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role with the NVRRA?
Thanks, Ray. My role currently is I'm an officer. I'm the secretary. I've been president, director. I've been a member probably 30 years plus. It's kind of a blur now, but I've had most of the different leadership roles, directors' offices, things like that. I also am in charge of the auction committee, where we do major fundraising and we reselling used collections of model train gear, excess stuff from the club, and that we usually do that at train shows, and we've actually done some business online too. It's been a good fundraiser for us.
Excellent. So you have one of those arms that's kind of spring loaded, and when they ask you to do something, it goes up in the air kind of automatically.
Well, I don't know if my arm goes up in the air, but somehow I get volunteered or voluntold or something.
Well, it must mean that you do a great job. So that's great. And then Thomas, tell us about your role with the NVRRA.
So I joined back in 2010. I was the senior chairman for quite a few years. I've been on the board of directors over there, vice president for 5-6 years with the club. I'm on the auction committee with Pete, so it's mainly myself and him. And we're also part of the advertising committee for Railfair. So we deal with bringing out the flyers, going to hobby stores, any type of events that we can try to advertise for the show. And that's what we do right now.
Excellent. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the NVRRA in a brief history?
NVRRA was founded in 1952. It started as both a model train club and a rail fan group that went out and did rail fan trips. It started in the basement of a hobby store in Clinton, Massachusetts, for those who are familiar with the area. And the early 70s, they relocated to a site in Bolton, Massachusetts, and some of your listeners may have visited at that site. They expanded the building by then, and by 1986, we had a 26 by 66 foot layout, which at the time was one of the largest in New England. We went DCC in 2001, and that just opened up a whole thing for us. We could run like 35 locomotives, 35 trains during an operating session with no power blips or anything. It just really opened up the hobby for us. Finally, 2002, we modeled Railroader magazine. In 2008, we relocated to our current site in the Phoenix Park complex in Shirley, Massachusetts. The park was the site of the former Sampson Cordage Works, which was just built after the Civil War. They did a really good job rehabilitating the old building. It was a wreck when they bought it, but now it's loaded with small businesses, and the landlord did a really good job trying to save the old parts while modernizing the complex. So like I said, we've been in Shirley since 2008. We're building a museum quality layout in the club quarters. We modeled the Boston and Maine Railroad in the 1980s from Portland, Maine to Mechanicville, New York. Our layout has a lot of the different cities and towns located on the line. We've got, I think it's over 500 feet of mainline track and over 2,000 feet of track if you include the yards and the sidings and the helix. If you run a train at scale speed, it takes about 45 minutes to do one lap. So it's pretty packed in there. It's multi-level. We also got an 8-foot helix that takes us from one level to another in one part of the railroad, which has been runs great for us. We do a fair amount of outreach, too, to promote the hobby. We just built a layout for the Shirley Historical Society. They're depicting the Shirley Mass of like 100 years ago for one of their anniversaries. So we helped them build a depot. We work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation to get little boys train sets on their own. And we are now officially a 501c3 corporation. Finally, we've got about 60 members, give or take. We're growing. We're growing a lot recently. We're also going after some of the younger members. We're trying to get young members, young kids, 12 to 18, and an adult to join. And we've actually been pretty successful with that so far. It's great having the young people. We're trying to have the hobby carry on, so we really want to get some young blood in there. So we really encourage that because most of us old timers aren't getting any younger.
How long have you been a member, Peter?
Since 1990, to be exact.
Wow, so quite a long time. And Thomas, when did you say you joined?
So I joined in 2010. So I've been 14 years there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I would call both of you. I mean, even with you joining a little bit later there, Thomas, you're still a well tenured member, and kind of speaks well to a organization to be able to hold on to members for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you got a lot of great things going. And boy, I got to get up there and see this thing. I have not been into your club, and that's an area of interest for sure. The old Boston and Maine. Now, that line that goes, through. You got. I'm sure you're representing the Hoosick Tunnel there somewhere.
Oh, absolutely, right? We are.
Yeah. And we have our own club road too, called New England Rail. That's kind of our home railroad, but it's the B&M track plan.
Awesome stuff.
I can tell you this much, Ray, is when I joined in 2010, we had one level. The helix was in there, and then part of the second level was up. And 14 years later, it doesn't even seem the same what it was when I got on. So a lot of things have been changing, which is the greatest thing. And seeing the layout as it's been progressing has been amazing. The amount of people and knowledge that we get from members of this club is phenomenal. We have very good members that do scenery fantastically, good painters. We have people that are great with electronics, track work, locomotive repairs. If there's someone's personal layout that needs help or something, like we can always ask someone, and they'd be more than willing to come out and give them a hand. So it's a very great club to be in.
Well, I would think so. And you said nearly 60 active members. That's pretty fantastic.
Yep. The other part we do is once a month we have an operating session that's at the club. So there's always a sign-up sheet for club members, and it's usually a Saturday night. And members, if they want to bring in their own locomotives to operate, they're able to. When that happens, they come in early, they set everything up, they get everything ready, and then they start at, I believe it's 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. and they'll go for a couple hours doing operations. We have our own dispatching area there. So and a lot of members actually have fun doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, operations just seems to light up a whole bunch of people, and with that size layout, I mean, operations must be a pretty big undertaking for you folks.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We try not to have problems, but It happens, just like on the real one.
Yeah, usually something comes up. We take care of it or fix it. But once the layout's completed, I know there are plans right now to expand the layout onto the other side of a wall, to have like its own little branch line over there that they're looking at. Mainly when it's done, it will probably be almost an hour scale speed, an hour to an hour and a half, just to do a complete loop at scale speed.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, for sure. Great to see that. I got to get up there and check that out. That's a pretty phenomenal sounding club. And there's so many advantages to a club. I mean, it's great to have your home layout. And I think everybody at some point strives to have a railroad of their own, but it's amazing what you can do in a group of people and build something this fantastic, this big. And then be able to have a group like you mentioned, Thomas, where you have a wide variety of talent that you can just bring together and then pool that and learn from and build off of each other's abilities.
Yeah. The other good thing about a club, Ray, is that if someone lives in an apartment or a small house, they don't have room for a layout. This is a way to come, operate a layout, build a layout, do everything you could do at home, but just do it at the club with us.
Yeah. Or even different type of running. Like even here, I have a small switching layout, but I love some big 6-axle stuff. I'd love to be able to get up and, stretch their legs and, have a layout where I can do some running on too. So definitely a great advantage to be able to pool everybody's resources together and come up with a common goal. And sounds like you guys are getting it done.
Yep. Yes, we have committees. We have a layout committee also. So people that have ideas that they want to add to the layout, they want to make a change here or there. We do have meetings. They do present it. And if the committee says, absolutely, that's a great idea, it's put to the general membership. It's shown for a little bit. And the general membership majority of the time will agree. And they move forward on that project. I know Gardner is being worked on. It was built originally. It's been revamped. It's being revamped now because there's some things that they wanted to make changes on, such as like track designs and a few other things. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the Fitzgerald guard that we have on the layout. Also, they wanted to add an MBTA staging area. So they, again, people bringing up ideas, prototypical, and being able to do that. And that's one of the best things about being in a club layout, being able to do this sort of stuff. And like I said, Ray, you're learning the hobby through other people that have that knowledge. Yeah. If there's one section that someone doesn't know something, someone's there to teach you.
Yeah, I can say that firsthand because I met my mentor through a model railroad club, became almost like a brother to me. I mean, it just, it's amazing those connections that you can make. And I say it many times, the hobby is so much better shared, and clubs are a great way to do it. If you can have one near you that you can get yourself involved in, and especially getting started in the hobby, it's just a great jump up when you can just surround yourself with amazing amount of talent.
Exactly, Ray. And to Tommy's earlier point, I mean, I got in the hobby 35 years ago, seriously, and I couldn't put two pieces of track together. I had no clue, nothing. I was clueless. And, some hobby stores opened up and you join the club, whatever, you get to pick guys' brains. Sometimes the problem is you get 7 answers to the same question and they're all correct. But there's no shortage of information. And, the good thing is somebody in the club usually makes a mistake and the new guys get to benefit from the lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Learning through osmosis, just being, next to the person and, and then if you have the right people that can provide that mentorship and, take people under their wing and that's phenomenal. Awesome stuff. And
we're doing that with our junior members too. They've been a complete joy to be with us and everything. And they're just picking it up like crazy. You tell them once and that's it. They just get it.
That's awesome.
I will tell you, Ray, is that, when I got on, I was somewhat good with scenery, for my own home layout that I had. And then when I got to the club, I actually learned from Pete. I learned from another member, better scenery techniques, better things to do. And you make friendships up there. I've been I've known Pete now for 14 years. We're very good friends. He calls me, I talk to him, I go to his layout, he comes to mine, and we bring other club members to our layouts to do repairs and stuff. And we've learned different trades of doing scenery, to doing the track work, to doing
the carpentry, the electrical, the planning, all of that.
Yeah, all those elements. Yeah.
There's so much to
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you did mention in 1952, the club was started not only as a model railroad club, but as a railfan club. You guys still doing that as well?
Haven't done the railfan thing for a while. Not formally. I mean, there's a bunch of us that will go, the tracks aren't far from our club quarters. We'll watch a train there or down at Air Junction, things like that. Guys are usually down there. But we haven't had any formal trips in quite some time.
But meeting all those people and like-minded people, I'm sure, like you said, the informal stuff goes, which is nice too. It's nice to be able to share that and be able to go out with a few guys and go trackside for a while. And you guys got a good line for that up there. So,
and what's even better, Ray, is there's a restaurant right on the other side of the track. So usually
there's a win right there.
There's a win right there. And it's great when we, people doing ops or doing work at the club, and they're like, hey, let's go grab something to eat. It's called the Phoenix in Shirley, and it's right next to the tracks, and people will actually go have their dinner or lunch, whatever, if it's on a weekend, and the trains go by. So you're doing two things. You're having food, you're enjoying yourself with friends, and you're watching the trains go by too.
It's hard to beat all of that. What a combo.
If you get a window seat, you can see the crossing gates go down and the bell go off, so a train's coming. So those go off, people pile out, they look at the train, and you come back in and finish your dinner.
There you go. That's awesome. Awesome stuff. Yeah. So all of these projects and this big layout, I would imagine, requires a bit of funding. So I imagine that's where Railfair kind of slides itself in. So you guys are having this event. How many years have you been doing Railfair?
We've been doing train shows as long as I've been a member. They've taken on different formats. Back when we first started, we had a school in Bolton. We used to do a 2-day show. We went down to a 1-day show, and then all the dealers say that they just like 2-day shows. So we went back up to a 2-day show. We had the Sterling Middle School for many, many years, and they were great to support us. And then we decided to take a leap of faith, and we started expanding Railfair to a 2-day show, and we now have it at the Boxborough Regency Hotel. You've got the Grand Ballroom. Certain shows will have certain rooms outside the ballroom, depending on how much space and how many exhibitors and things like that. But it's a fair amount of space in that hotel, and they've been great.
Yeah, when I got on in 2010, we always did a 1-day show, and we were lucky on the 1-day show to get almost up to about 500 people. And when we decided to go approximately 5 years ago to do a 2-day show before noontime, we had surpassed what it was for a 1-day show, which we knew then that this was the path that we wanted to go on, was a 2-day show.
Yeah.
The numbers, last year we had about 1,500 people come to our show last year for 2 days.
Wow. Awesome.
And we've been at the hotel since 2017, except 1 year for COVID. I hate when things like that get in the way of train shows, but what are you going to do? And like I said, the ballroom, there's something for everybody. We got the kids caboose, which has hands-on exhibits for the kids. I could take the moms can take the kids in there, and the dads can go in the grand ballroom and shop and buy cool stuff. So that
or vice versa.
Well. Exactly.
Or vice versa. Yeah.
Exactly. The kids love it, but there's something for everybody. There's something for families. There's something for modelers of all experience levels, beginner, advanced, and everything in between, and plenty of parking and food available.
Excellent. So let's talk about vendors and what you have planned there.
So vendors right now, what we have is, I'll name off some of the main model works is going to be there. New England Railroad LLC, North Shore Model Railroad Club, Chippewa Railroad Company, Boston, Maine Historical Society, Don's Trains, the Railroad Depot, Simon's Model Trains, European Train Enthusiasts. So they do have layouts that are there. They have a couple of them that are going to be on, and then they also have a sales table that they have. Steve's Trains will be there. The train shop at Brettonwood Antiques. Those are some of our vendors. Our exhibitors that we're going to have actually this year is the Amherst Beltline. Hub division layout, again, like I said, the European Train Enthusiasts, or ETE. We're going to have the Mass Bay Railroad Enthusiasts, New England T-Track. And the other thing that we have also is we will have a sale table there. Also at the sale table, we have what's our test track. It's got 9 different gauges. It goes all the way from G all the way down to the smallest scale that you can think of.
Down to Z. Down to Z, which is 1 to 220.
And we can test any locomotive. That's a very popular thing, especially at rail shows. It's not just our show that we bring it to. We bring it to Marlboro. We bring it to Greenberg. We'll bring it to Amherst. We bring it to any of the shows that we're going to attend, because we want to help, who wants to be in this hobby to be able to know that the train's going to be running or not.
And it helps the dealers sell.
Feature,
helps them sell a lot more locomotives. People aren't too sure. Just bring it over. We'll test it. We'll talk to you about it if you got any questions, whatever, and then they go from there.
Yeah, in fact, my friend and I took advantage of it when we were at the Hub show. You guys had the test track there. I think you had a big sign above it too, so everybody could see it. And it worked out really good. It's such a great service. Yeah, but it is nerve-wracking when you go to buy something and you're like, who am I buying this from? Am I going to get home and be completely disappointed by this?
Yeah.
And that's great. And I think that's fantastic for guys like us who are, I guess, moderately or in that advanced stage, but even more important for beginners, because I just cringe at the thought of watching somebody go over, buy a locomotive, enthusiastic about the hobby, and they set it on the track and it doesn't work, and they're 50 miles away from the show and they give up on the hobby because of it.
Oh yeah.
That's a great service that you guys provide. And that's that really, and then you can help them. Okay. This doesn't, but and then you can give them a little guidance. How about looking at something, maybe a few more bucks more, but it's going to give you a little bit more enjoyment when you get home, and it's going to be a lot more reliable. Those are the really important things to help us grow this hobby.
And that actually is one of the most common things, Ray, that we see when we have the test track out is, you get, like you said, one of the cars, and, parents are coming over and the kids really want to be in the hobby. They're stuck to it. And either that locomotive isn't working. But we, like you said, we will help them and be like, look, you can get the next one up. You can, if you get a different one, bring it back here. We'll look at it. We'll help you out. We, especially at our sale table too, there may be something there that actually works. All our locomotives that we sell, we test every single one of them. We inspect them. And then usually if it's something where a kid wants to see it, we're like, here you go. And especially any of the dealers too. A lot of the dealers that we have at our show do use the test track, because they will bring it over before they even sell it to that person too, which is, I almost look at this as like, a lot of the dealers know us. So they know, why don't we go over, check it and see how it works. And if it works great, we'll give you the price. So, we all work together. We're all doing the one thing, which is the hobby that we all enjoy.
Awesome.
And
stuff.
we do our version of tech support too at our shows, or any show we go to. People come up with, not just the test track, but questions about the hobby. Where do I go? How do I start? How do I do something? I'm having a problem. And we'll help them as best we can.
Awesome stuff. Yeah. Really cool that you guys are doing that. Now, the stuff that you sell, where does that inventory come from?
A number of places. Some is excess club stuff that we just don't need. We do buy a lot of collections. We bought a lot of collections over the years. Unfortunately, people seem to be getting out of the hobby now. They're getting older. They're retiring. They're moving, passing away. We get a lot of phone calls, emails about, I've got this collection. I don't know what to do with it. And if it's sellable, we'll help people sell it, or we'll just buy it outright.
We also get a few that are, my husband did trains. He's passed away. We don't know what we're going to do with it. Can you help us?
Yeah.
And we will go in. The amount of times Pete and I have gone to houses that have been layouts that were like magnificent, and the person's passed away, and you have family members there that are like, we don't know what to do with it. We usually will say, we'll do a consignment with you. but most of them will say, hey, you know what, I want to donate it. Can you use this at your layout? Or we explain to them that, when we sell it, the money will help us make our layout better.
And pay the rent.
And pay the rent also. But we've had a couple areas on the layout where there was donations that were given, very large donations. So we've made it sections of the layout that are going to be part of some of the donations that were given to us.
That certainly is another service to the hobby too, because that happens all too often, that a spouse will find out or had an idea of what was spent on the layout, but really doesn't know a whole lot about it. And then the spouse passes, and then they're left not only to grieve their loss, but now they have this collection that they don't know what to do with. And it's great that they can come to you guys and get guidance. And it kind of leads me to a little bit of a soapbox moment for those that still have a pulse that are listening to this. Have a plan, please. Like, put a plan together, write something down that says, if I go to the big roundhouse in the sky, this is what you do. Go see the folks over at Nashua Valley. They'll help you, or
exactly
something leave a legacy or leave something behind for those that are left to be able to know what to do with. But that's my soapbox. But it's great to have folks like you that are able to guide and walk these people down a very difficult path and give them a resource to deal with this stuff.
To your earlier point, Ray, there's two values to a collection. There's, the current market value, and then there's a sentimental value. Someone thinks because it's old, it's valuable, and maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. But the family usually has some kind of emotional thing to it, and the last thing they want to see is go in a dumpster.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good when they can get it in your hands and you can take it to a show like Railfair and get it back into a modeler's hands and good use to it. And then it helps throw some bucks to keep keep your operation going, keep the layout going, add a little expansion to it, and everybody's happy. So excellent stuff there. So you hinted on operating layouts. We talked a little bit about that earlier, Thomas, and we've got the operating layouts and things to see there. And it's great that you've got such a diverse group there, and especially with the Amherst belt lines and that layout.
Yeah, we have a very good relationship with the Amherst Railroad Society. Some of their members are actually part of our members also. We work very well with Amherst, and especially Hub Division also we work well with. I think all the clubs that are within this general area of Massachusetts that we're, central located, we get along with a lot of the clubs. Pepperell Siding up in Pepperell, Mass. We have members that are on that club that are on board of directors up there. And they're members with us. We actually will do operating sessions where we will invite a club down, the Worcester Model Railroad Club, when they had their show in April, I think it was. We invited them to come down to our layout to do operating sessions, and we will get invited by them, and we will go down there. We do it with Pepperell. We'll do it with the Boston and Maine Historical Society. Will actually come in and do an operating sessions on our layout. They'll bring some of their own locomotives to run. So I think with this hobby, it's you all work together, and like I said, we're here for one thing, which is enjoying the hobby, and then to share it with other members, and especially other clubs is a positive thing.
Yeah.
It networks very well, doesn't it, Peter?
Very much so. Everybody knows everybody in this hobby, and it's just a great bunch of guys. You don't get competition like you'll get in some hobbies where someone wants to show off their creation or whatever. If someone's displaying something at a show or whatever, you ask them about it, they'll tell you exactly how it was built. They'll tell you probably more than you want to know, but they'll tell you exactly how to do it, how they, beginners can do it, where to start. And people are very open about, promoting the hobby itself.
So that's one of the things that's not on this flyer that you'll benefit by going to Railfair 2024, and that's the camaraderie that happens when you have an event like this.
Oh, yes.
It's all home week, yeah.
Yeah. It's like every show we go to. It's people that you haven't seen, and, so many months, and then all of a sudden you see them again and you're catching up. You see people that, that know your family. They know what's going on. They always do a checkup to see, hey, how's your kid doing? How's, your wife? I got people that I haven't seen and I see 4 times a year, and they're always asking me, they're like, how's your kid doing? How's your wife doing? How's the family? What's new? And then they start learning all that, and especially the job, they'll ask about my job, how's it going?
Yeah.
And then it always comes down to, what have you done to your layout? What's going on? Then it comes down to this. And then usually it's like, well, if I have time, I do some work, but yeah.
And there's people both inside and outside the hobby. I mean, we've got a pretty good following here that just show up every year. A lot of repeat folks, they have fun and they just come back. They bring the kids, the grandkids, whatever. So it's good to catch up with folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Railfair 2024, we're talking about this coming weekend, October 5th and 6th. Mm-hmm. That's Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Boxborough Regency Hotel. Exit 75 off of I-495. Great location. Very easy to get to from north, south, east, west, right along the 495 loop. So great spot to be. And let's talk about this admission rate. 2-day admission for only $10 a person. Yeah, that's pretty phenomenal to be able to have a 2-day show for only $10 a person, and under 12 free. That's really great.
And scouts in uniform free too.
Yeah, awesome.
You want to get the scouts in the hobby, but best deal in town. I mean, you take the family to McDonald's, it's $20. That's
right. Yeah, you can't entertain anybody. You can't really do anything for $10 a person anymore. Yeah. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So awesome stuff. You've got it covered with the kids. You got it covered with adults. You've got layouts. You've got items for sale. And of course, that great camaraderie that comes with everybody getting together and sharing the hobby. So awesome stuff there.
And the best thing, Ray, is like, if you take $4.95, once you get off of it, it is literally a quarter mile. If you're coming $4.95 north, when you get off, you're literally taking a left and a right, and we're right down there. We're literally off the highway.
You'll see it from the highway. You'll see it from the highway. That's so very easy. And it's at the junction of I-495 and then State Road 111 too.
So absolutely. So
very good location. Very easy to get to.
And I know you got all that information on your website. We'll share the link to the website on our website, aroundthelayout.com/125. So, we'll get that all up there. We'll get everybody heading to Boxborough this weekend. I'm hoping to be there for at least one day.
Excellent.
And walk the show. And hopefully I'll see a lot of the folks there, including you two gentlemen.
I will be there on Saturday and there Sunday. Actually, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we
set up Friday.
Yeah, we do a setup on Friday. The vendors come in on Friday also with the exhibitors. We give them a ample amount of time. We do shut it down around 7 o'clock at night, and the doors don't open up for vendors probably until 7 a.m. in the morning. Gives them time to finish up any setting and stuff. But we are there for 3 days. So by the third day, we're pretty much tired.
Yeah, I bet your feet are. A little achy, but hey, that means that but I'm sure your head is full of ideas and you're ready to just get back to model railroading. It really is a good way to kick the hobby off again. And I kind of say, model railroad season's firing back up again. Although some would argue it's a 12-month season. I say it is, but there's a lot less distractions come this time of the year. Once you get the leaves raked out of your yard, you're off. This is something you can focus on. Yep. It's cold and we're ready to go up this side of the equator.
When we used to do one-day show, I used to say our club was about the last ending of the season, which was around April, May time. And I said it wouldn't start back up until, October or so. And now I'm saying, now we start the season off for train show, which will then go. So it's like, it's kind of nice.
Absolutely.
Instead of being last, we're first.
There you go. Leading the pack. So
absolutely.
That's great. So Peter, Thomas, I appreciate you guys coming by, telling us about the Nashua Valley Railroad Association and the Railfair 2024. Hope to see everybody up there this weekend.
Yep. Excellent. Well,
thank you.
Looking forward to it, Ray. Good to finally meet.
Yeah. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Around the Layout. Learn more about today's episode, check out past shows, and much more on our website, aroundthelayout.com. Show your support by becoming an operating crew member at aroundthelayout.com/crew. Follow us on social media, aroundthelayout.com/social. And send us your feedback, aroundthelayout@gmail.com. Thanks for hanging out with us around the layout.